Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Remember 11, The Age of Infinity. And last time we were hearing Satoru learned about how he doesn't like wristwatches very well, or anything on his wrist. Which kind of assumed that was a big part about why he kept taking it off. And then he's about to talk about Uni. Very curious what he has to say about Uni. He's a very strange kid. So let's go.
仕方がない。それじゃあユニのことを教えよう。昨日のスフィアでのメッセージにお前はこう書いたよな。だってそうじゃなければユニが同時に2人も存在することを説明できないって。同時に心はそう書いた。でもな、本当は同時なんかじゃないんだ。片方のユニは2011年のユニ、もう片方のユニは2012年のユニなんだよ。
That doesn't make sense because Uni does not remember the cabin unless he is there because of trauma. I suppose that is possible. I mean, like I've mentioned, he is at an institute for unsound minds, you know. That's what SPHIA is. So it would be possible that he could have trauma from the crash and being the sole survivor, counting the deaths of Yomogi, Kokoro, and Mayuzumi. But I don't feel that that's the case. Thing is possible, but that's my instinct telling me it. But you know, my instincts on stuff that aren't real are great.
時間軸上の異なったポイントに同一人物がいたとしても別に不思議ではないだろう。っていうか当たり前のことだよな。未来にも過去にもユニがいるのは当然のことだ。そうか、なるほど。
I suddenly started believing what Satoru had told me. Because if it's true, then lots of things start to make sense. Uni, what Utsumi said. Wait, but Satoru's message continues. I laid aside my thoughts for the time being and carefully listened to his words.
でもな、ここからが一筋縄ではいかないんだが。
Oh, that's right. We have been on a very straightforward path of knowing what all has been going on. That's great. I'm glad they're mixing things up now. Then he paused for a while. He didn't resume speaking. Did something happen?
すまない。
The voice I heard at last was, for some reason, a rather subdued one.
どうしたの、サトル？なんというか、今、俺は、いや、このことは後で教えるよ。ひとまずメッセージは以上だ。ちょっと待ってよ。
It doesn't sound like it at all.
話は途中じゃない。
Exactly.
勝手に打ち切らないでよ。
I complained to the voice recorder. Of course, I know it's
待っ
meaningless.
た。大事なことを伝え忘れるところだった。
It sounded like he was saying something important, so how's he forgetting it when he was? Well, okay, never mind. I was about to say, how can you forget something while you're saying it? But it's me in a nutshell. Something
い
important.
いか、心。スフィアでは今後一切食べ物を口にしないでくれ。は？これはお願いじゃない。言い方は悪いけど命令だ。詳しいことは今度説明する。と
Great.
にかく一口でも何かを食べたら命はないと思ってくれ。じゃあ頼んだぞ。
And there the message ended. Yay! Worried about somebody poisoning him? Is that what he's worried about? Why is he? Maybe it's just something that hit him, you know. But, you know, I thought he would have thought of that earlier. Maybe he just assumed that she would have kept from eating since she knew that somebody was after him. Leaned against the wall. We're coming and going back and forth between the years 2011 and 2012. That was the blind spot. The double existence of Uni was a big mystery. They weren't twins, and furthermore, they had the same memory. Couldn't imagine anything but that we were transferring at the same time. To consider time slip, the problem is settled. After all, the two unis were respectively the uni of the past and the uni of the future. But I don't see the present uni, though. See the one in the middle? Like, late September uni.
赤倉岳は2011年
According to Satoru, I think of this year as 2011. I'm in the shelter cabin. And Satoru, who insists it's 2012, is in SPHIA. I nodded in agreement, but something wasn't right. This is the same unease I felt earlier.
どっかおかしい
As I thought it hit me. The newspaper. Yeah, that is true. How did it travel back? The date on the newspaper was July 4th, 2011. If the time at the shelter cabin is 2012, there would be no contradiction in that newspaper being here. However, if we say that the date on the shelter cabin is January 13th, 2011, it's strange. A newspaper from the future lying around here. And moreover, the radio. The radio I heard in SPHIA said that the year was 2011. That is right.
どうして
But like I said, it's somebody wanting to make them think that. That is my instinct. It was just like... that really is my instinct. If somebody keeps repeating something, I start to get fishy. Maybe I'm just untrusting. But if somebody just keeps repeating the same thing, then I start actually doubting them rather than feeling assured. I guess it really depends on what it is, but that's my instinct on this. And yeah, this game does no clarification. Why, game? Why you no clarify nothing?
まさか避難小屋が2012年でスフィアが2011年
I believe that it solves the problems with the newspaper and the radio. But if that's the case, that brings up other contradictions. Outside the shelter cabin is the fresh crash site. There's a 2012 the crash site could also exist.
その矛盾を回避するためには
Well, the airplane we boarded somehow jumped to 2012 during the flight and crashed on Mount Akira. Guess that's possible. Then, if I, in the shelter cabin of 2012, and Satoru in SPHIA of 2011, began the personality exchange. Yeah, that still doesn't explain it good. With this reasoning, the contradictions of the radio I heard in SPHIA reporting it was 2011, and there being a fresh crash site on Mount Akira in 2012 are resolved. But
それじゃあ新聞の説明がつかないよ
yeah. The plane crashed on Mount Akira in 2012. The article dated July 4, 2011 couldn't have possibly been published. Besides, the explanation works if I'm thinking it's 2011, but it doesn't work if Satoru is thinking it's 2012.
違う
As I thought about another possibility, I suddenly
ひょっ
realized
と
it.
して私が転院してるのは避難小屋もスフィアも両方とも2011年でサトルが転院してるのは両方とも2012年なんじゃない
That's so it accounts for how I feel it. This is 2011, but Satoru thinks it's 2012.
それじゃダメだ全然ダメ
If I don't exchange personalities with the Satoru of 2012, we wouldn't get in a dispute over the problem what year it is. Besides, if it turns out I'm going back and forth in 2011, the contradiction of the two unis comes up again. I brooded over it. I thought there being a gap between the dates was a good idea, but in practice it doesn't seem so simple.
パズルでも解いてる気分
Agreed. I'm hopeless at puzzles. Even the small one is agony and makes me want to give up. Even for university research, I like keeping careful observations, but when the time comes to write up a paper on it and lay out all the reasoning, I end up writhing in agony. When I read detective novels, I leave everything to the tale's investigator and don't reason or anything. And now there is no detective that will solve the puzzle for me. Hello, detective? Can you come over out to this cabin way out here and start thinking about stuff for me? It would be funny if they got through on the satellite phone and she just grabbed it out of Yomogi's hand and be like, "Give me a detective!" What? No mountain rescue or nothing? So it'd be funny if the detective actually came out there and got stranded with them. That'd be silly though. This is happening to me right now. Come think of it. Recall Satoru's last words. SPHIA from now on, don't eat any of the food. Anyhow, if you take a single bite of anything, then consider your life over. And his. I can't say that he doesn't care about her, but that's a lot for his well-being too, I'm sure. As he'd probably be the one to die. Well, that was a really yummy meal. I can't get that at the shelter cabin. Oh. Oh, okay. Wait, why is there a plate here? Dang it, Kokoro. That, in other words, means it's like there is a possibility I'll be served poison. That's definitely what it sounds like, he thinks. I inputted that in a corner of my memory. Still leaning against the wall, my thoughts kept going around in circles. New life. Okay. Suddenly found myself lying face up in bed. Another transfer? They're happening a lot more frequently today. If the transfers continue to go on like this, I might really go crazy. I thought self-derisively. My throat was dry, so I insteadly left the room to get a drink. In the kitchen, I found Uni peeking inside the fridge.
Satoru.
Rushing over, he pulls on my arm. Now he mentions that I'm, or rather Satoru's body is, hungry too. Looked around the interior of the living area. Hattori was standing there absent-mindedly. For some reason, she was looking around the area restlessly. Was she looking for something? Utsumi was nowhere to be seen. Pouring some water into a cup, I downed it in one gulp. Did she do that from the faucet? I hope so.
Utsumi-san wa? Soto ni detecchatta. Eh?
From the large window in the living area, I could only see the darkness of a pitch black night. What's she doing out there at this hour? Uni's lips curved in a pout. Utsumi's a good person, but it's not as if I could completely trust her. She's a good person, but I think she might be trying to kill me. But it sounds like someone is after Satoru's life. Because we don't know anything more than that about the culprit, everyone is under suspicion. Couldn't ignore any unusual behavior. I returned to my room and put on my coat and then went outside. The weather out there was freezing cold. For someone to go out in the midst of such a cold is really quite suspicious. I tried calling out. There was no answer. I hesitated, wondering whether I should go on searching for her. What if Utsumi was actually the culprit? Her surroundings were engulfed in darkness. It'd be quite easy for her to catch me off guard. I don't really want to consider that though. What should I do? Dang it! Right now, to be honest, I find Uni the most suspicious. I don't know why. Perhaps. Nah, not really. A lot of Japanese type horror movies and such like to put kids in a scary role. If you ever noticed. The Ring, there's the Grudge. This game don't begin with. Well, the subtitle begins with the. Yeah, let's not trust Uni. It would be the first time that a kid would have been the main villain in this one. Coco wasn't. I'm distrustful of Uni though, to be honest. It's like he knows more than what he's saying. Whether or not that makes him a bad person, who knows? But that's what that's my gut instinct right now. So we're gonna search for Utsumi. Cause why not? Even if that happens, I can't just leave Utsumi alone. She may have just gone for a walk and ended up losing her way. Am I too soft-hearted? Nah. You'll chase after her, see if she's lost her way, and then probably lose your way, and you'll die, and she'll find her way back. Everyone but you will live happily ever after. Wow, butchered that phrase, didn't I? Thinking that, I started walking deeper into the darkness. By a stroke of fortune, I found Utsumi right away. If you step out of the institution's entrance and head left, you'll come to a hill. I say hill, but it was really more of a modest mound. About 5 meters in height. Modest mound. Utsumi was standing at his peak. Okay. Stars, interesting. And a change of music. It was a magical scene, both her arms extended toward the night and sky. It was as if Utsumi were a goddess bathed in moonlight. If her body started floating right now, flying up into the sky just like that, I wouldn't be too surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised at all. Huh. Sup, Utsumi? Can you see my house from up there? Unintentionally swallowing, I hesitantly called out. And actually, he just stands and goes like that. I don't know. I never just stood outside and just waved my arms around. See that in like movies and stuff. Doesn't make any logical sense to me. And then, possibly because she noticed my footsteps, Utsumi turned her head. I somehow felt a little awkward. Utsumi answered with an extremely cheerful smile. So Utsumi had a child. But I haven't seen anyone like that at SPHIA. It can't be that Uni is Utsumi's child or something ridiculous like that. Oh, great. Utsumi took out a photo from her breast pocket. Her name sounds familiar. I've watched a bit of anime though, so I don't know if it's from any of these games or if it's from something else. It seemed she was going to show me. I struggled a bit to climb the hill, and standing by Utsumi's side, took a peek at her photograph. Doing the peace sign. Definitely an anime thing. The picture was of a boy who looked slightly mischievous. Agreed. Was his age around the same as Uni's? Looking at the camera, his entire face was lit by a smile, and his making a V sign. Utsumi's face as she said that was full of affection. It was the face of a mother. Saying that, she shows me a different picture. It's a picture of a baby. This is probably taken a few months after birth.
でしょ?
Appearing truly happy, Utsumi gazed at the photograph. I got a feeling this is going to be a happy story. Yeah.
いいでちゅか? お兄ちゃんにおめでとうって言いましょうね.
She spoke to the photograph using baby talk. She looked somehow pitiful. I finally knew what Utsumi had come here for. This is SPHIA. Yeah, that's what I figured. This is the specified psychiatric hospital for isolation in the Aegis. Why was Utsumi here? Why weren't her children here with her? What do you think? Yeah. Kokoro reasoned that one out. I think could more or less figure it out. That's why Utsumi was now praying for children living somewhere far away. Okay, from somewhere even just a little bit higher. From a place just a little closer to the sky. Praying with all her heart for children living underneath the same sky. Makes me want to pray too. Wait, does she figure it out? That's what I thought. For them to be able to once again live together as mother and child, if even for a second earlier. Afterward, when I called for Utsumi to return with me to the institution, she answered just a little bit longer and stayed. Let's return to the institution alone. Okay. With all the metaphor and stuff, I can't figure out if Kokoro has it figured out. You know, they didn't specifically say that, obviously. I'm assuming that the kids are dead. I'm assuming that. And that she can handle it very well, which is definitely understandable. And that's why she's there. That's what I'm thinking. But I wonder if... Did Kokoro? She kept mentioning the sky, but she said under the sky. So I don't know if she was thinking the same thing as I was thinking, or if she was thinking the kids were alive. Which I mean, like I said, they didn't specifically say that. It's just what I'm thinking. But anyway, that's a pretty good ending point right now. Do hope you folks enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one. Farewell there, folks.